Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom, assalamu alaikum, adnastana. It's a pleasure to be back with you here on Points of Light Radio. As you can tell, this is a lodge night for me, and I've dressed up a bit, and that's what we're going to be talking about here on this particular segment. What's appropriate dress for your lodge? Do we dress up a bit? Do we not dress up a bit? I personally, as you can see, prefer to dress up a tiny bit. But how do you dress, and what's the standard of dress for your lodge? Let's have some guests on to talk about that. In the meantime, I'm going to finish this cigar, and we'll talk about this as we go along.
Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of light and secret knowledge wherever you may be, you are listening to Points of Light Radio, the podcast dedicated to taking you past the apron and behind the closed doors of lodges everywhere. And here is your host, Stan Miller.
Now, where this particular segment emanated from was during a recent meeting of a lodge I attended. We were talking about rules for the lodge, and one of the questions, or one of the rules on there, was the dress code for that lodge, and the consensus was business casual. Well, that's open to debate. Well, I'm gonna Google this right now. Let's have a look. Business casual attire for men typically consists of dress pants or chinos. Wait, what? What are they? Educate me, please. Okay, a collared shirt or sweater, and dress shoes or loafers. Well, I'm not a loafers type guy, so we can just cancel that out for me anyways. But how is it appropriate? What is the appropriate dress for attending lodge? Now, are we talking about a business meeting, a regular business meeting, or are we talking about, this is where I see it, or are we talking about a degree that day? Right? So we could say that. So let's try to come up with a consensus here. You're going to see several different guests come on here today and discuss the dress codes and so on, or the attire for their lodge. Right now, let's be honest, things have changed. If you see these free gardeners here, and these guys, their usual job was a garden. They showed up in lodge dressed up, not just with the regalia, they dressed up a little bit. Now, of course, in this day and age, things have changed, haven't they? Even in our places of worship, they don't demand church clothes anymore, do they? Have things changed that much in lodge? And if they have changed, why have they changed? As I told you, we will be bringing several different members of different organizations on here to discuss the dress code in their lodges. But I can't wait to get started and have this discussion, like I said, because it was quite a lively discussion we had in the lodge that day. But, as I always ask you, are you still thirsty for knowledge? Are you still searching for the light? Then you just trim your lamp and follow. The first guest you're going to meet is my brother, Ibrahim Jallow. He is a member of the Prince Hall Bright Day Freemason Lodge in number 165 in Arcadia, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. But is there a dress code in your lodge? Shirt, tie?
Yeah, so I met another brother. We was at a car show, and he said that they wear just whatever they can wear that day. And I'm not saying that we don't, but most times, 99% of the time, since I've been raised to the sublime degree of a master mason, whenever we meet, it's in the black suit, black bow tie.
Okay. Yeah.
Always, and that's one thing, because another brother said, he was like, man, you guys dress up for your meetings? And we were like, yeah. He said, we don't do that. It's flip flops. And he like, we just, we don't do that. And again, I understand it, but I think for us, it's it kind of sets the tone for meetings,
It does.
And so, yeah, we always have that on whenever we meet. Now,
I like
it's
to
on.
dress up a bit.
Yeah, me too.
Just
So if we meeting for something else, if we just doing some practicing or we just doing some socializing, of course we class C and we dress we dress casual. But whenever we doing work, we definitely we want to look the part.
the next guest you're going to meet is my new friend Chris Tomasello Jr. He's the Grand Knight of the Knights of Columbus All Saints Council, number 6277 in New Jersey. That's beautiful, yeah. Now, what's the dress code in your meetings?
The dress code for the meetings is kind of casual. It's the polo shirt I'm wearing right now with the emblem on it, and either like shorts or jeans kind of stuff. If we have any kind of special reason, we dress up in suits, but most of the time it is just polos and shorts.
Yeah. Now, when do you wear the uniform? I understand there's a uniform to it.
Yes, the color core uniform, that's a property of the 4th degree. If someone will come to you, say, when the bishop comes down for confirmations, we generally come out for that, or we do parades, that kind of stuff. But twice a year, the bishop releases his annual schedule of confirmations of the parishes. Mm-hmm. And the assemblies are made up of different councils in the area to form the assembly, usually like 4 or 5. And when the bishop comes or a cardinal comes, we dress up in color court for this.
Now you're going to meet Brother Nathaniel Clayton. He's a member of the Vermilion Masonic Lodge number 24 in Alberta.
Fine quality people.
Yeah, I remember one time I did talk to a guy who had been in a number of Masonic lodges, and he started, I think it was Oklahoma and stuff, and he said, some of the country lodges were kind of sawdust on the floor joints, but, still good quality guys. They walk in out of the fields, there's no time to change, and then there's the city lodges where the expectation is you put some church clothes on before you go in. And
yeah.
Yeah. But what's the dress code in yours like?
Well, a lot of people do wear suits, and that's generally, I've never been told you have to wear a suit.
Yeah.
It's just been kind of a general, everyone shows up wearing the suit, looking good. Mm-hmm. And there's been a few times people showing up in their farm clothes, and it's because they were farming.
You can't condemn them for that. So, brothers and sisters, what are our findings? Brother Clayton says that his Masonic Lodge they tend to dress up, but they're not told to, right? There's no rules laid down for them. Mr. Tomasello says for most of their business meetings, it's just polo shirt and shorts if they want. Brother Jallow, his lodge has an expectation of black suit and tie. But he's like me. He personally likes to dress up a little bit on his lodge nights, right? As I always ask you, though, what do you think now? Right? I personally, as I said, I think we have to look at the situation that we're in of that evening or that day that we're there. As I said, though, is it just me, or do I just like to dress up a little bit when I'm on my lodge days? Do I just prefer to? Right? I think it's wonderful, and I think we have to remember that when we come to lodge, let's just put it this way: we need to respect the building and the organization that we're in. And I'll leave it there. Before I go, I want to remind you that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. I also welcome your comments and input. You can follow Points of Light Radio on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. My Twitter handle is at PO Light Radio. You can see the link to my Spotify channel as well as my Points of Light Radio store. Brothers and sisters, it's been a pleasure fellowshipping with you, and until we meet again, just step into the light and dress accordingly.